Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in for round 2 here of Season 22. We're in Tier 4 WOR tonight, and we are racing at the home of British Motorsport here at Silverstone. Alongside me in the commentary box once again, Ryan Hurren joining me tonight. How are you doing today, Ryan?
Good. Been looking forward to this one. It's always a thriller of a Grand Prix at Silverstone. And yeah, can't wait to get into the action today.
Yeah, should be a very exciting race. Silverstone, usually a track that's known for some great overtaking opportunities. One of the fastest tracks on the calendar as well. And I think definitely some opportunities for some drivers to try and make some bold moves around this track.
Yeah, I agree. There's incredible overtaking opportunities into Turn 3 of Village, Turn 6 of Brooklands, potentially even Copt if you get the right run out of Luffield, Stowe, and also Vale Chicane as well. It's a unique circuit in that aspect. There's not many that have, such clear-cut opportunities.
Yeah, just before we do talk about tonight's running, let's have a quick look at the calendar for this season. We've already completed our race in Las Vegas. Jeremy picking up the victory there. We are here in Silverstone now, of course. Next week we've got Monza, then Saudi Arabia, Mexico, Canada, Austria, Bahrain, maybe Miami if the bump is still there when we do get there in January. China and Sao Paulo rounding things out on January the 19th. As we said last time, I think a really exciting calendar. I think round 1 in Las Vegas definitely delivered.
100%. Of course, we had Jeremy Golonia taking the win in the McLaren. I think he's racing in the Alpine today. Of course, Nico Rattenberg getting on the podium as well. And was it... Oh, who was it? It was P2.
Oh, let me just
quickly
bring these standings up and we can have a look at this. So yeah, it was Jeremy who picked up the win, Lennart in second, Nico in P3, then we had Nathan Pillane, Vettel, Tom 97, Pesci, Jerem, Victor Garcia who picked up a 10-second penalty for speeding, still managed to pick up P9, and Thunderino rounding out our points finishers. 18, I think, of the 20 drivers were the full-time drivers as well, only 2 reserves racing last time, and I think we have got... Jeremy racing again here tonight as well, who is our championship leader. As for our constructor standings as well, this is how things are looking. Red Bull currently leading the way, but it is pretty close out there. 18 points for Red Bull, 15 for McLaren, 12 for Sauber, 10 for Aston Martin, Ferrari on 8, Racing Bulls on 6, Mercedes on 2 and Williams on 1. Given that a reserve did pick up the race win, it has naturally made the championship a little bit closer. You haven't got that 7-point jump.
Yeah, of course, in WOR, reserves don't score constructors' points, and that is going to keep the championship nice and close, especially if Jeremy keeps on winning like he did in Vegas. It was very convincing, and if he keeps that up, the constructors' championship is going to be much more spicy than it would if his points counted.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. He does seem to be on the pace as well here tonight. We'll have to wait and see if he's able to replicate his performance here as well. But shouldn't be too much longer until we are readying up. I think we have been given the go to ready up now. So hopefully we'll be heading our way over to the lobby very soon. Just quickly before we do head over, Ryan, do you want to give us a quick talk around this wonderful circuit?
Absolutely, Josh. So heading into Abbey, flat out corner through Farm as well, heavy braking into Village, and then tight around the loop, but flat through Aintree, down the Wellington Straight and towards Brooklands. It's a tricky apex to hit, and then the long right-hander of Luffield as well. Need to pick your acceleration point well, otherwise you can go off into the gravel or just drop the rear of the car. Flat out through Woodcote and also flat through Copse, at least in qualifying. I imagine we'll see drivers saving their tyres through there in the Grand Prix. Maggots and Beckett's sweeping through there and out of the little left-hand kink of Chapel. It's really nice flowing section onto the Hanger Straight. And then round the long right-hander of Stowe Corner, where it's very easy to run off the circuit on the exit. And then the, in my opinion, best overtaking spot on the circuit, the heaviest braking zone into Vale. And then just rotating the car over the very high apex curbs of 16 and 17, accelerating out of Club, where it's very easy to lose the back end and you're back onto the Hamilton Straight to finish off the lap.
Yeah, and a track where there are plenty of overtaking opportunities, but it is also a very high-speed track, so the driver's naturally going to lean towards some lower wing setups. We will be heading very soon over to the game. But I think we're definitely going to be seeing a decent amount of overtaking, but also that DRS train, I think, going to be returning once again. Unfortunately, I'm not too sure exactly how the weather forecast is going to look, but for the time being, I think we are going to be seeing some clear skies here in Silverstone as we quickly try and find the button. I've completely lost it. There it is. And we wait for the game to appear on the screen because for some reason we've got a black screen. There we go. And as you can see, pretty blue skies here in Silverstone. Should be a relatively straightforward qualifying session for the drivers. By the time we get to the race, though, things could definitely change.
Yeah, I mean, it's British weather, isn't it? It would be wrong to assume it's going to stay completely dry. Even from the blue skies we've got now, it could very easily become overcast just in the 18 minutes of this session. But yeah, we've got 18 drivers. I think we were expecting 20 this evening. But yeah, we've got plenty of cars leaving the pit lane.
Yeah, Nico Rassenberg, the first of the drivers to make his way out in the McLaren. This time around, he has not got another fast McLaren driver competing with him. Well, I assume that it's still a fast McLaren driver, but he's not got the fastest.
Yeah.
I expect everybody's pretty fast here, but yeah, I'll have to wait and see how Tim, the other McLaren driver, gets on here tonight. Whether he can match his teammate and put in a strong performance like Nico managed to put in last time out, picking up that P3. But everybody going to be slowly making their way around. It's quite a slow pit lane and it's quite a long track as well. So I expect we're probably only going to be seeing 3 laps from the drivers here.
Yeah, I think 3 is about the maximum as well. They won't really want to do any more than 3 unless they were to use, same tire multiple times. They'll need to save either 2 hards in a medium or 2 mediums in a hard for the race. There's a very high tyre wear around here as well, as far as I can remember.
Yeah, I believe the tyres did go a step softer a couple months ago. And as a result of that, it did make the strategy a lot trickier. You have to do quite a lot of tyre saving if you want to make that one-stop work, and with about a 25 to 30 second pit loss, you really do want to be pushing towards that one-stop because you will lose a lot of time if you do go for the 2-stop. But we have got our first lap of qualifying underway. Nico Rassenberg making his way now in towards turn number 3. Getting the car stopped, turn it through, turn 4, get it rotated nicely onto the power, use up a little bit of that exit curb as well, just to widen the track a little bit. Now DRS opens up as you run down towards turn number 6. We will get the first sector split and we'll get that timing up for you. 27.0 through the first sector, already looking quite strong here for Nico Rassenberg as he now makes his way through the middle sector. Down the old pit straight we go towards Copse Corner. Let's see how this lap unfolds.
Yeah, just exiting Woodcote now and towards the infamous Copse. I think easily flat in these modern day cars, and especially on the low fuel and high grip soft tyres that they have in qualifying, as now he weaves his way through Maggots and Beckett's, carving away at the racing line. Now onto the power, out of Chapel and down the Hanger straight, which feels longer and longer every time that you drive on it, in my opinion. As now it rotates the car through Stowe, just about getting to the apex, and now accelerating towards Vale, hitting the brakes, tipping the car in over the 2 apex curbs here, and now on the power, keeping it pinned all the way up to the line on the Hamilton straight, and it's a 1 minute 25.3.
Very competitive time to get things started. We were hearing from a couple of the drivers. I think someone said they were doing a 24.9, sorry, and they thought that that was going to be a very competitive time as Nathan Polaine now goes to the top with a 25.2. Thomas Bounce, the other Sauber driver, 25.2 as well. 2.14 though for him, puts him 77 thousandths ahead. Leonard now goes to the top with a 25.1. Those times are tumbling here as we get our first laps underway. A couple more cars coming to the line now as well. Tom 97 goes to 4th with a 25.2 as well. Couple thousands behind Nathan as Liam Doherty goes up to 3rd fast as well. Couple thousands further ahead of Nathan as well. Inversizzo slots in as well. Another driver into those .2s. This looks to be a potentially very competitive qualifying session here.
Yeah, we've got Tim Tonema, who's at a 25.5. Kevin West as well with a 25.5. The Williams of Pierre Karchik is on an outlap. We've got Timon Van Vincent, who had a bit of a shocker in Vegas, the 25.7, as I think that was... Who's just gone over the line there?
I think it was...
well, there's Lawrence Patton up to P2 with a 25.2, so that's another driver there. It was, I think, Pesci, who's at a 25.8 that I missed.
Yeah, we've got a couple more coming now as well. Star through the final corner now, currently sitting P15, jumps up to 13th with a 25.5. Two drivers out on the track yet to set a time, and then Jeremy, winner last time out, still sits in the pit lane, yet to head out onto the track. We've got 12.5 minutes left to go in the session though, so plenty of time still for him to put some laps together. Through Maggots and Beckett's for the Williams driver as well. Let's see how this lap is unfolding. Is it going to be a decent time here through the middle sector?
He's going to be at 102.3. I'll check the race track to see how that lines up. But
I think maybe a couple tenths off our fastest. But yeah, doesn't look too terrible so far. Making his way through the final few corners now. AZR Vettel not too far behind. He's a 25.7, puts him P14 now. We'll jump over to Vettel as well and see how he gets on as he makes his way through the final corner. He goes 14th fastest as well, 25.657 for the Aston Martin driver. And most of the drivers now making their way back to the pits. I don't believe anybody is currently on a lap at the moment, but that is our first set of runs completed for the drivers. And Leonard's currently sitting, Leonard currently at the top, a 10th of a second clear, Jeremy without a time. It's interesting to see that he's chosen to give up a run here. I guess he's trying to save his head of softs. That's the only explanation I could really see. That, or he's maybe not at his PC right now, and therefore isn't able to drive the car. We have got a car heading back out onto the track, one of the Mercedes, I believe. Or Victor Garcia was P2, I believe, on track before that 10-second penalty last time out. He will be looking to try and improve on his positions once again. Currently sitting P10.
On as well. Yeah, a lot of drivers coming out for their second runs. I wonder if Jeremy will be a part of them. But yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of these times get cut down. We've got 3 drivers in the 0.5s. We've got 6 drivers in the 0.2s as well. So, yeah, Silverstone always generally delivers with how tight qualifying can get. Only a 7/10 field spread as well.
Yeah, and from first to 9th is 2.5 tenths, and there's a 10th between first and second as well. So second to 9th, only a 10.5 separating them. One small mistake could drop you from the front row to the 5th row of the grid. It's going to be so crucial that you absolutely nail your lap out there. It really could change your race. We saw how difficult it was really on this game to overtake, especially at low downforce circuits. We saw it in Vegas. The drivers are really struggling, especially down the strip, to actually make any progress because everybody else was getting that same low downforce advantage. We could be seeing similar sorts of characteristics, struggling through the dirty areas or heading through Maggots and Beckett's. It's going to space the cars out a little bit as they head onto the hangar straight, so you've really got to have that tyre advantage or just have a general pace advantage. If you want to go for those moves and try and find your way through the field, is there a chance maybe, as I was about to say, is there a chance that Jeremy might be doing a last to first to have a little bit of fun here? As I say that, he is out onto the track now. For his first run of the session, 9 minutes left to go. So we are halfway through this session now. Leonard still currently sitting on the top, but everybody making their way around to go for their second attempts. Nico Rassenberg was the first driver on a lap. Victor Garcia has just come across the line as well to get his underway.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if Jeremy decided to do a last to first in round 2 when he's leading the championship, Josh. But you never know, he is a reserve after all. So maybe not expecting to make every race this season. But Nico Rassenberg now, 3rd in the championship after Vegas. Now makes his way through turn 6 and into Luffield now. A long, painful corner, getting on the power and running out to the outside curve. And now through Woodcote and towards Copse, the car just on rails through this section of the track, heading towards Maggots and Beckett's, as it's looking fairly clean from the McLaren man. There's now Maggots and Beckett sweeping left, right, And then a final left kink sees him out of Chapel, and he might pick up a slipstream here from the Williams, who's heading towards Stowe. It'd be a distant one if it was anything, but it looks like Rasenberg managing to get through Stowe nice and clean. Although no, he invalidates on the exit, and Nico comes straight back into the pits, and we look to Victor Garcia.
Yeah, the Mercedes driver currently sitting 10th fastest. I think purple in the middle sector. It has been a strong lap so far. Comes across the line and goes fastest. 25.0, half a tenth clear of the P2 driver. Now, there is definitely time to be found. I was looking at Lawrence Patton's previous lap sectors. He lost about 3 or 4 tenths in the final sector. He definitely could be finding some more time as he just starts his lap as well. We'll look over the 2 V cars making their way through. Pesci's going to be the first to cross the line. He jumps up to 11th the fastest. We've got Invasiso currently sitting in P5. He jumps to 3rd on a 25.202, 7 thousandths of a second ahead of Lawrence Patton, who now makes his way on towards the Wellington Straight.
And next car, though, is going to be our runner-up from last week, Leonard Deckers, who heads up to the line, and it's not an improvement. He was actually about a second down on that lap. So I wonder if he's going to go again here. We've had the other Mercedes of Kevin West improve up to P10. Timon Van Vincent is going to be next over the line. He's currently 2.5 tenths up on his time, and he's going to jump to P13 with a 25.5. Starr goes up to P6 with a 25.2. His teammate Jeremy Galonia sets a 1 minute 24.8.
That is a very impressive lap time. If Lawrence could hook up the final sector, he could still be in with a shot here. He's making his way down towards Stowe Corner now. This is where he lost the time on his previous lap. Wasn't a personal best in the first sector. It was a personal best, though, in the middle sector, 34.772. Let's see if he can nail this final sector to try and get himself into contention for the pole position here. Making his way onto the power through the final corner, comes across the line. It's only P6, doesn't improve on his time. And once again, I think he lost time in the final sector.
Yeah, I mean, the final sector is really the make or break of the lap, especially Vale Chicane. If you get it wrong through turn 17, you know, you've got real problems. As Nathan Tulane goes up to P8, I think that's Vettel as well, who's just improved to P17 with a 25.5. I mean, once again, it's a 7/10 field spread, but it's only 5 tenths from P2 to P18.
Yep, and that's really what you get at this level of league racing. Those small margins will make such a big difference. I mean, look at the gaps between 4th and 9th. There's 28 thousandths of a second covering those 6 drivers. It's incredible stuff.
Yeah. I hadn't actually noticed.
That's like an average of 4 thousandths for each gap. It's nothing between those drivers. But yeah, really impressive stuff.
Nico Rasenberg just started a lap, but he locked the rears going into Village and went sailing off the road. So that is going to be his lap done in the early stages. Tyres probably ruined as well. It was a big slide. And yeah, it's 1.3 down in the first sector. I'm surprised it's only that. But yeah, we've got 2 cars trundling back to the pits on, I assume, minimal fuel. At least it's Sauber who seems to be struggling. I wonder, is Nico going to come into the pit lane, or is he going to go again on the same set, if he even has the fuel for it?
Yeah, well, we've got about 4 minutes left to go in the session. I've just realised I don't have any water, so I'm going to very quickly run and grab some before we have any cars heading out onto the track. Hopefully, we get back in time.
Yeah, just keeping an eye now on Rasenberg. As yeah, I think he's just calmly making his way back to pit lane now. A shame you guys couldn't see that slide. It was quite impressive that he kept it going, to be completely honest. But yeah, we've got 18 drivers. However, I think there's only really 2 or 3 in contention of a pole position here. It's not looking close at the front. It's close everywhere else. Got the bottom 3 separated by 37 milliseconds. We've obviously got 4th down to 11th within a 10th. Inver and Tom being either side of that. To be fair, Nico Rasenberg's not far outside of that either. Same for Kevin Verst, so we got what 135 milliseconds separating 10 drivers in the mid pack.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and we are getting ourselves ready now for the final runs. Ferrari and a McLaren, the first two cars to head out, followed by a Red Bull. We've got movement down, I think, in one of the Williams garages. We've got a V car, or is that an Alpine? Alpine coming out as well, but the final part of qualifying now going to get underway, and it's Tom97 who leads the drivers out onto the track. 2.5 minutes left to go. Everybody going to be leaving this one very, very late. It's in a minute and a half lap here, and some of the drivers are going to have a long way to go down that pit lane as well at the 60km/h limit. I'm thinking like the McLaren that's still sat in the pit lane there, which is Nico Rasenberg. If he does want to get out, he is going to be cutting it very tight, and I will just jump back over. Unfortunately, we don't get the best shots of the pit lane. We don't really see the exit, but there are a lot of cars all making their way out at the same time. It's going to be a bit difficult to find yourself some clean air.
We've got Lawrence, Nico, and Jeremy is also not out on track. Oh, sorry, it was Vettel, Nico, and Jeremy. But they've got about 20 seconds margin here, and they're still in the pit lane.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tight, but they should be fine. I'd be a little bit more worried if you're sat in this pack of cars. Of course, they have the space to back up. But at what point do you start backing up? You don't want to back up too much and then cost yourself a chance at a lap. It's going to be interesting for sure, because I think some of the drivers may be looking to pick up a bit of a slipstream. We've got the two V-Carbs and the two Williams together, although the dirty air is still going to be extremely difficult to deal with. Tom97 is making his way through the Vale chicane, as is one of the Red Bulls just behind him as well. So we are getting our laps underway now to finish off qualifying. 1 minute left on the clock. Let's see what they can put together through the first few corners for the Ferrari driver, who currently sits in P11. If he improves by 1/10, he will end up on the second row of the grid. Things are that close.
It is absurd, isn't it, how close it is. Look at the queuing in the final sector. This is ridiculous. We've got half a dozen cars just waiting heading into turn 6, and they've not got very long left for them to wait, especially considering that Jeremy, who is the Alpine approaching, is only just going to make the line as it stands.
There's 22 seconds now left on the clock. There is really going to be a fine margin for the drivers to make it to the line. We've got 15 seconds now. We've got yellow flags up on the screen, so we can't see it there, but the drivers will be looking at that time and making sure they get to the line. It is counting down now, but I think we are just about going to make the line here for Jeremy. 2 seconds to spare for him. Let's jump back over to Tom97 now, who's 0.2 of a second up here on a 25.297. This could be a potential 0.0 here, which will put him onto the second row of the grid. Let's see what he can do here as he makes his way through the final sector, getting onto the power now, full throttle, pin it to the floor, burn all the battery up towards the line. It's a 25.067. He takes it to the front row of the grid by 1/1000th of a second. What can everyone else do behind though to respond? There's so many drivers left to complete their laps. One of the McLarens coming across, that's Tim, up to P15. We've got one of the Alpines as well. That will be Star as he comes up towards the line. He goes to second. 25.009. There are big improvements being found in this final part of qualifying. Sinan comes across the line. He goes to third. 25.060. The Mercedes of Victor Garcia, 0.068. No improvement from him. Leonard jumps back up to second with a 25.0. Next across the line, Kevin West to P7. Finding an improvement out there as well. Thomas Bowser does not improve on his position. The two V-Cubs coming across the line now. Inversizzo gonna come across. Does he find an improvement up to P7? Another 0.0 on the board, as does Nathan Poulain. Another 0.0 coming onto the board. The two Williams drivers come across the line. No improvements for either of them. We have the Aston Martin of Lawrence Patton, who jumps up to P5. Next is going to be the McLaren of Nico Rasenberg, who sits in P13. It's only P11 for the driver who sits third in the championship. It is 24.661 from Jeremy. He jumps it up. He puts it on pole by 3.5 of a second. That is a mega margin at such a high-speed track.
Yeah, that is absurd for this level to be 0.34 ahead, but look how close it is from P2 down to P9. Only 75 milliseconds. That's 3/4 of a tenth there, separating, what, 5 rows on the grid?
Fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, 6 thousandths of a second between them. 0.404. In fact, actually, Sinan as well slots into that one with another 5 thousandths. P4 down to P8. 15 thousandths. No, sorry, 11 thousandths of a second, covering
11.
5 drivers there on the grid.
I love Silverstone. What else can I say?
Yeah, that would be the difference of carrying maybe an extra kilometre an hour through a corner somewhere. And for those thousandths of a second difference, for example, the Ferrari and the Mercedes, 6th and 7th, 1,000th between them, that's nothing between those two drivers. It's such an incredible margin, and those margins are being seen up and down the field as well. 4 thousandths between 10th and 11th. Rasenberg just missing out on the top 10 there. We'll see what he can do as he fights his way back through. Can he get himself back to another podium finish here? As it stands, though, very much looks like it's going to be Jeremy's race to lose here tonight.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. 1 second, I need to cough. But the thousandth of a second is insane. That's literally turning in your wheel what wouldn't even seem any later or any earlier than you did. You can't really correct that a single thousandth, can you?
Yeah, and I mean, look at the gap between P2 and P3. Leonard got onto the front row of the grid by 5 thousandths of a second as well. It's just everywhere you look, it's such a tiny margin that these drivers are split by. But this is what we absolutely love. And then you just see Jeremy up at the front, 3.5 tenths of a second clear, and wonder how on earth he has pulled that lap together. But going to be an interesting race. It's looking to be dry once again. One-stop strategy should be the fastest way through this race, unless we see some potential safety cars to come, in which case things could get a little bit interesting for some of our drivers.
I mean, let's not forget that Jerem 97, even before, I think he did receive post-race penalties, but before that, he started on pole, finished in the lower half of the top 10, maybe not even in the top 10 at all. I can't quite recall. But, yeah, it's definitely not going to be smooth sailing for Jeremy.
Yeah, we will just... we're waiting for them to ready up. I believe they'll be readying up in about 15 seconds.
I don't know, did he... Let me check, see for information. 28 start. So, yeah.
Yeah, that will be in 1 second. It is now 28, so that 30-second countdown will get going. And then we will wait and see.
We've lost Simon.
Oh no, that's not what we want to see. Hopefully he'll be able to get himself back into the lobby. His setup and strategy should be sorted out though. So if he does manage to get control, hopefully won't be too big of an issue. But should be very soon that we head down to the grid any second now, I expect. But yeah, should be a very exciting race. The gap's so close in qualifying. I expect we're going to be seeing some very close gaps throughout the field as well. Can Jeremy run away with this one as he did in Las Vegas? We head down to the grid now, and the 5 lights are on ahead of the drivers. And we are racing here in Silverstone. Decent start from Jeremy as he gets the power down. Leonard looking to try and challenge, covers off the P2, holds on to that as we make our way through the first few corners. Star and Sinan battling as we make our way now down towards turn number 3. Lawrence looking to put some pressure on the Ferrari as well. Sinan going very deep, lots of cars going wide as they make their way through. One of the Mercedes going off the track there. Tom 97 is already up to 5th, and there's a car spinning one of the Alpines. That is Star losing the car. Tom 97 now through into P4 as we make our way onto towards the Wellington straight. Couple cars going wide off onto the grass there, but overall a relatively clean start for most of the drivers. We now make our way through the end of the first sector, winding our way through Brooklands and Luffield. Down the old pit straight we will go. Anybody going to be brave enough to try a lap 1 move here in towards Cobb's Corner? Let's wait and see. We have got some cars further back going wheel to wheel. Yeah, Tim and Vettel wheel to wheel down towards Cobbs. Who is going to be brave enough? We have got a car, I think Pesci also looking to the inside there. One of the cars, Tim, going wide. Everybody making it through relatively cleanly on this opening lap now as we head in towards Maggots and Beckett's now. Jeremy half a second clear up at the front of the field as well. Done a decent job on this start and kept things under control.
Yeah, that was the perfect start for Jeremy. He managed to keep out of all of the trouble. Not so fortunate for his teammate Star, who's now 4 seconds off the back of the pack, and he's going to have some work to do to catch back up to this train. I think Timon Van Vincent has reconnected. He has dropped to P17, unfortunately. We've got Vettel going for a move on Thomas Belcher now. And it looks like the Aston Martin has managed to get ahead and up into P11 as Jeremy Galonia sets the fastest lap of the race as he crosses the line onto lap 2. But still, the entire grid down to P17 in the same train.
Everybody starting on the medium compound tyres as well. Very different to what we saw in Las Vegas, where we had a bit of a mixed strategy. Some of the drivers opting for the hards, but everybody deciding the mediums are the fastest tyre to start this race on. That might be just due to a difference in how powerful the undercut is versus the overcut. Maybe slightly more viable at a track like Las Vegas with really, really high rear tyre wear. Causes a very, very quick drop-off in the pace. Jeremy still about half a second clear. Leonard doing a decent job to hold on to him for the time being. He will now have DRS as well, heading down the Wellington and Hangar straights to help him keep up with the fast flying Alpine driver. The Dirty Air not going to be helping him through here. He is still sticking pretty close though. Half a second is the gap as they head on towards the Hangar straight. Everybody else further behind just holding their positions.
Ferrari seems to be struggling a bit more than Lennart to keep up, but after all, Lennart is chasing a car with no DRS, and they're going to have much more dirty air than him as well, so their gaps are fading more towards the 1 second mark already. Star has already caught up heaps of time to the pack, and I want to bring up as well that Vettel, going on to lap 3, has already gained 7 positions in this Grand Prix. He started P18, now running P11. And honestly, I can't even explain how that's happened.
Incredible stuff in these opening few laps of Vettel, navigating his way through the chaos as other drivers struggled on the start. Kevin West dropped 6 places, Liam Doherty dropped 2, Star dropping 15. All the while Vettel was able to find his way through the carnage and find his way, as you said, now up to P11 on the cusp of a potential points finish here tonight. Let's see what he can put together in the rest of this race. Can he continue that strong form? Maybe better race pace than the qualifying pace would have suggested. And maybe he can fight back here tonight. Lennart, half a second, under half a second, in fact 4/10 of a second off the back of Jeremy, heading in towards Magnus and Beckett. But as we saw last time around, as you make your way through this corner, and especially here heading on towards the straight, you're going to struggle with that dirty air. The gap jumps up to about half a second, and now he will close back in once again on the leading Alpine, 3/10 of a second in towards Stowe. Still not close enough for an overtaking opportunity. Probably need to be under 3/10, maybe 2.5 tenths coming on towards the Hangar straight if you want a chance at a move heading up towards Stowe.
I do recall that last season there wasn't much racing near the front. Of course, I was in a different sort of commentary back then, until it started raining at the end, which I don't know if we're going to get the blessing of that today, but at least strategy-wise, this is all yet to unfold.
Yeah, undercut is going to be so crucial. As we see after those first few laps of chaos have unfolded, it is quite tricky for the drivers to make any moves. I don't think we've seen a move for a lap or two now, so the drivers really going to have to focus on their strategy. How early do you want to go with your pit stop to try and give yourself that advantage with the undercut, to try and find a way through the train? Because if you're a driver like Tim, for example, in the McLaren, sat down in P14, if you go for an undercut, maybe a lap or two earlier, you might gain an extra second or two. That second or two could be the difference between you finishing in like the top 5 or finishing at the bottom end of the points, or maybe even outside the points. Why not take that gamble?
Yeah, 100% agree with you on that. We've got Vettel, who's made a move to get past Pierre Karjik there in the Williams, and Vettel now making his charge through the field. Oh, you got a stamper off in the background. That's Thomas Balcher, and Thomas Balcher is off into the wall. Front wing broken, and that is almost certainly his race over. And yeah, so unfortunate there.
He gets back going, but that is, yeah, as you said, almost certainly a race over. He's already 12, 13 seconds off the back of the pack. He'll come into the pits for a change of front wing, lose another 5 seconds changing the front wing. Maybe even going to lose more if he has to make another pit stop to get to the end. I expect we might just see a retirement here from him as he does speed into the pit lane. I expect that might be exactly what we are about to see. Although maybe he'll hang out for a safety car. You never know what could come later on here. Could end up being quite a chaotic race. It does seem that he is continuing on still. I would have expected he would have retired by now.
Yeah, I'm going to give him credit. I mean, those tyres will not get to the end from here. The hard. So he is going to have to stop one race again. They're definitely hanging out for a safety car. As we have literally, as evidence, cars can hit the barriers around this circuit despite how far away they seem.
Yeah, I mean, some parts of the track, the old pit straight, well, I guess on the straights really they are a bit closer, but yeah, through the corners they do seem to be quite a distance away. But also, if you're going at a barrier like he was, it's not really the angle you're usually expecting to come towards the barrier. We didn't really see exactly what happened for him to end up off in that barrier. But yeah, the runoff heading straight on through the corners is usually quite long. As you see, we've got a big gravel trap here down at Vale, but off to the sides there isn't really as much as some of the other tracks. Like if you think Suzuka through the S's, for example, you do end up with a lot of runoff through there, which does help. We're almost breaking the DRS here between our top two and P3 Sinan, starting to drop off a little bit. Tom 97 also struggling to keep up as the drivers slowly starting to stretch their legs, build up the margins. Further behind though, those gaps still staying pretty consistent.
Yeah, I think Tom 97 just about fell outside of a second. He's managed to keep the DRS though, but this is crunch time now for Jeremy as he's about to break the 1 second to Lennart Deckers. In fact, he has done now, and breaking that 1 second, maybe pushing a bit more on this lap to break it, is going to pay dividends in his hopes of a race win. As yeah, it's now about 1.3 seconds now going through Cops, and I think Lennart is going to be the one under pressure now.
Yeah, well, let's see what is going to happen here. Sinan, 0.6 of a second, probably not close enough for a move on the Red Bull unless Lennart has been burning his battery and doesn't have anything left to defend with, but I expect he'll nice and comfortably hold his position here in towards Stowe. But now this becomes a battle for P2. The train might be a little bit easier to stay together as well. Now that Jeremy has broken away, isn't towing the pack along, it will default to Lennart's pace now instead, which may be a little bit slower than Jeremy's. We have got some cars changing positions down at the back of the grid. I think someone might have had an off.
Yeah, Tim Tornamo dropped 2 positions behind Doherty and Vest. I think he might have gone off on the exit of Stowe there and maybe just ceded the time to avoid getting a warning or a penalty. Because as well, that's another aspect of this circuit. It's very easy to get track limit violations, even when you're not necessarily pushing that hard. And
if you are getting those track limit violations with a grid this close together, a 3-second penalty, if Lennart were to pick one up, for example, that would drop him down to P6, maybe even P7 if it closes together a tiny bit more. It's very, very tight. And that is the really crucial thing. You've got to make sure you play your cards right here.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with that. As I think, unfortunately, for a start, although he's caught up to the back of the pack now, he's just kind of stuck behind the Red Bull of Timon Van Vincent. So we've got an Alpine first and a Red Bull second, and an Alpine 17th and a Red Bull 16th. So, I think that, yeah, that's an off there for Lennart Deckers. So it might not be a Red Bull in second for very long, although he seems to have done well to hold the position.
Yeah, looks like he just ran a little bit wide and decided instead of trying to push and potentially pick up a track limit warning, he just went straight across the corner, lifted off a little bit and made sure he didn't lose too much time. Managed to hold on to that margin. In fact, through this final sector, he has actually gained a couple of tenths. We've got a bit of battling further behind as well.
It's just Nico.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, it is Nico into the pits. I have the wrong thing up here on my screen. I didn't see that Rasenberg was coming into the pits. I saw him gain a bunch of positions, then lose a bunch of positions, and thought something might have happened. But he is the one to make the early jump onto the hard compound tyres on lap 8 of 26. It's a long way to go, but I think it is definitely possible from this point in the race to get to the end on a set of the hard compound tyres, which puts him in a really, really great position, because he could start to see a very powerful undercut here in these next few laps and try and gain a little bit of time.
With the clean air as well, that's the crucial aspect about an undercut, is getting into the clean air. You're able to take Hop's corner flat, for example. Maggots and Beckett's, you're not battling the understeer. As well, what that does is, by going for the undercut, it has sprung a gap in the DRS train between Victor Garcia and Indeciso, and that's going to help him in his battle, at least defending from P8 and behind, as he was in that gap and taking himself away from it. Inver's not closed up enough to grab the DRS. Lawrence also dropped.
Yeah, a couple of drivers struggling into the pits there. Lawrence does dive to the pits, lost out on the DRS, decides now is the time for the change of tyres. Anybody else going to follow him in? I think one of the Red Bulls potentially, and an Alpine as well. Timon and Star both coming into the pits here now on lap 9 of 26. I'm keeping an eye on that gap for Nico Rasenberg. He's not really making up all that much time. I think the issue for him is he's not in that... Yes, he's now got the clean air, but he doesn't have the DRS down the straight, and that's going to potentially cost him a little bit of time as well. In fact, unless my timing is lying to me, I think he might have lost about a second on the last lap. We'll wait and see as everything settles itself out. But I have a feeling that Nico might be struggling a little bit to get those hard tyres warmed up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Josh, is it could potentially be just warming up those hard compound tyres is quite difficult on this circuit, especially because it's a lot of high-speed corners that, you can't really afford to lift, to nurse the tyres in. You just have to push on the tyres straight away, and that's not going to be helping him.
Yeah, I mean, look at the gap. He's 3 seconds behind Lawrence now. He was in too many positions, I don't think, behind the Aston Martin, and now he has definitely lost time by pitting there. The overcut has worked for the likes of Lawrence. He's gained about a 10th on this lap to the Aston Martin as he tries to get his tyres warmed up, but I don't think it's really working out.
Oh, and Lennart Deckers. So we got 2 of the top 3 coming into the pit lane. I think as well we've got the McLaren of Tim Tornemo, who picks up a 10-second time penalty as well for speeding in the pit lane. That is going to hurt his already quite slim chances at points, given how his race unfolded so far. Lennart and Sinan need to get a hurry on in order to try and benefit from this undercut. Jeremy, of course, had about a 2-second margin anyways. Although, has Lawrence undercut them?
Well, he's definitely, I think, going to come out ahead, yes, of the Ferrari. He's going to be very close here with the Red Bull as they run down towards turn 3. Lennart with the inside line. Lawrence trying to swoop his way around the outside with the warmed-up hard compound tyres. The undercut has worked for the Aston Martin driver. That is a net P2 on the track as it stands, and he is going to be chasing down that undercut. But here comes the Red Bull now with the DRS, trying to fight back. Lennart now taking that position back once again as they head in towards turn 6.
Yeah, it was almost perfect there for Lawrence, but unfortunately Lennart just got the DRS and was able to fight back past. And I think crucially Lawrence decided not to fight him into Brooklands, otherwise they would lose a lot of time in relation to Tom 97, Nathan Pillane, and crucially Jeremy Galonia, who they are trying to undercut.
Yeah, I mean, as it stands though, I think once again undercut working for Lawrence here. He has gained... Yeah, he has gained here. Jeremy into the pits, as you said. Tom 97 still continuing on, as does Nathan Pillane. Most of the drivers now deciding it is time to pit. I think we've only got about 5 drivers left out without a pit stop made to their name. And everything going to slowly start to unfold. It's Tom 97, Nathan Pesci, Liam Doherty, and Kevin West who have stayed out here. We're on lap 11 of 26. So this is going to be quite long here on this medium stint. They are really, really pushing it on these medium tyres. Probably looking quite close to the puncture range at this point, I'd expect.
Yeah, that... I've seen punctures on lap 6 around this circuit before on the mediums. I think that was before they changed and fixed the compounds, though. But yeah, certainly going to be very difficult for these drivers at the minute. I guess they're just hoping, aren't they, that they'll have more pace on the fresher hards in comparison to those drivers that have already stopped.
Yeah, well, as it stands, the undercut has definitely worked. They have recalled themselves back up to Jeremy, and now things can be looking a bit tricky for Tom 97 because he was about 3 or 4 seconds, I think, behind the leading Alpine driver. If you take that 3 or 4 seconds, he's going to be behind Nico Rasenberg, I think, when he does make his pit stop. But he will have slightly fresher tyres. On average, probably a lap or two compared to most of the drivers, and he is into the pit lane now. Just looking at the track map, gets the car slowed down enough, doesn't pick up a silly speeding penalty. You would not want to have that to your name, as we saw, really hurting Victor Garcia's race last time out. And now we wait for all the cars to file their way around, and we get to see how everything is going to play out here. Sinan got within about 2/10 of Lawrence there, heading into Stowe. Couldn't quite get a move on there, unfortunately, though, for him. I think we had time on losing a position further behind as well.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed just how close Leonard had gotten to Jeremy with that undercut. But Tom 97, is he going to come out ahead of Nico Rasenberg? No, he's not. And potentially going to be under pressure from Victor Garcia as well in the Mercedes. He's going to be on cold tyres. Garcia is going to have the DRS now. Thomas Boucher picks up another 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane and does retire. Unfortunate there for Boucher. Pesci is just outside of a second of Tim Tornimo as well. So those three are probably going to start dropping away from the pack little by little. So yeah, it's Jeremy Galoni and Leonard Deckers and Lawrence Patton that are our top three.
I've just noticed Jeremy's done a medium. He's got another stop to do in this race.
What?
I'm not too sure why he's done that, but Jeremy has got a pit stop to do before the end of this race. He has got the medium tyres to try and build an advantage here, but he's going to need like 2 seconds a lap here if he wants to try and get this one done. We've got 13 laps left to go and probably about 26 seconds of pit loss.
I believe we're expecting him to be moved tier after this, based on what I've seen from Luke in the tier 4 chat. So maybe it's got something to do with that. Obviously reserve as well. But yeah, a 1:27.4, probably just a bit of a glory run here.
Yeah, well, we'll see what he can put together, where he can recover this to with a 2-stop. It is probably one of the worst tracks to try and attempt a 2-stop at, just given how long the pit lane is.
Second longest on the calendar.
Yeah, Sinan getting very close to the back of Lawrence as well as we make our way through the loop. Through entry now onto the Wellington straight, 0.4 of a second. Not going to be close enough for a move this time around, but he's keeping himself in contention for the podium.
Apparently I'm quiet, according to Nathan Richards.
I will quickly try and fix that. I think your mic has been changing volume a little bit.
I think it depends on where I lean.
Well, we'll try that and see if that's any better. But yeah, we continue on. We're at the halfway point of this race.
Look at Sinan and Lawrence.
Yeah, extremely close now as we make our way through Maggots and Beckett's. Is there going to be a chance for an overtake? We were saying it's about 2.5, 3/10 of a second you need to be within as you come off the straight. But he's just lost about 2/10 through Chapel there. As he came onto the straight, he lost all of that time. And now he gets to about 1/10.5 behind by the time they hit the brakes into
Watch
Stowe.
Tom and Nico. Yeah. As Tom 97 sends his way around the outside of Nico Rasenberg, the undercut really not working out for the young German, as now he is going to be swamped by the cars behind. Victor Garcia, Star, Nathan Pillane into Cizo, and probably all the way down to Tim Tornimo, his teammate, as Timon Van Vincent picks up a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's 2 DNFs from 2 for the Dutchman in the Red Bull. And now Tom 97 is going to be trying to chase after his teammate and the Aston Martin of Mr. Patton.
Star down the inside on Nathan Poulain. It's been an incredible recovery drive from the Alpine with that undercut. Now battling away, loses the position to Sauber. Might be under pressure from Invasizo as well as we now run down towards turn number 6. No move coming just yet. Invasizo looks to the inside though, trying to find a gap. Couldn't find it though. A little bit too far back there for the RB driver. But Star was all the way down at the back of the field, about 5 seconds off the back of the pack as well. After that spin on the opening lap, he has recovered incredibly well within the points and as it stands within the train in the battle for P5.
Yeah, phenomenal recovery drive. I think when he spun, I said that that was his race done on lap 1. And I, quite personally, stand corrected. As I think Jeremy not really gaining the time he needs, as Sinan now goes for the move on Lawrence Patton down the inside into Stowe. And the Ferrari makes its way up onto the podium. And I think, is Tom 97 catching? I think he is.
He definitely is catching in these past few laps.
Yeah. Sorry to cut in there, Josh, but Doherty and Petty were going side by side. Pesci, sorry. We're going side by side through turn 15 there. And it looks like Liam is the one who's managed to get ahead of the Racing Bulls car. But Lawrence doesn't seem like he's going to be giving this one up yet.
On the last lap, 0.7 of a second, Tom gained over Lawrence. Of course, Lawrence got overtaken on that lap. But there is definitely time being found here for Tom 97 as Lawrence fighting back against, again on Sinan, gets himself back through into the podium positions. All the while, Tom 97 is slowly but surely closing in on his Ferrari teammate. The gap is now 1.2 seconds. That just came down by another tenth as they made their way throh Luffield. It's down to 1.1 now. He is burning his battery to try and get himself into that DRS detection point as you make your way through Magus and Beckett. And I think there's a chance if Tom 97 has some battery left to use here, he is going to get himself back into that DRS, and he's in the fight for the podium, and he has a couple laps of tyre advantage in his hand as well. 3 laps over Lawrence, 2 laps over Sinan.
He didn't get in. He just fell short.
Yeah.
So it's going to be delayed by a lap or 2. But yeah.
He is definitely going to be a key player in this fight, and it could be a podium finish on the cards for the Ferrari driver. We thought there was maybe a chance in Vegas as all the chaos unfolded. He was on that alternative strategy, but he couldn't make the overtakes on the drivers who went for that undercut. Now the DRS just too powerful and they got stuck in the train. Could it be a similar story here tonight in Silverstone? We've got 10 and a bit laps left to go. Well, basically 11 laps. We've only just started lap 16. 11 laps of racing for Tom 97 to try and make these 2 overtakes with his tyre advantage. Not as big as the advantage he had in Las Vegas, though.
Yeah, both Ferraris are chasing after Lawrence Patton. To be, got to credit him, Nico Rasenberg on the older tyres has not dropped as much as I hinted. And is holding on quite well to Tom 97 at the minute. Star seems to have fallen off the back of Nathan Pillane as well. He's going to be under threat from Indeciso in the Racing Bulls car. Tim Tournament also dropping away from the back of the pack. Liam and Pesci have done very well to drag their way onto the back of the pack as well. And we've almost got the entire grid from 3rd down within a second of each other.
Lennart has been slowly catching up to the back of Jeremy on this part in these past few laps. Last time around it was 2 tenths. I think it's been even more this time around. 2 tenths in sector 1. I think he was able to gain. Actually, no, he lost a couple of tenths in sector 1, and Jeremy is into the pits on this lap. I think he pushed it hard on those medium tyres, but they have potentially now given up. It's going to be a trip to the pits, and I guess for a set of the soft compound tyres, or is it going to be hards? We'll have a look. It is going to be the hard compound tyres for the final 10 laps of this race. I guess softs would have been a very, very brave shout, considering that's what he did on the mediums in his opening stint. But yeah, going to be an interesting one as Nathan Pillane and Victor Garcia wheel to wheel in towards turn number 4 through the loop. Victor looks for a bit of a switchback, can't quite get the exit as he tried to get on the power, the rear end just stepping away, and that is going to cost him a chance here, heading down in towards Brooklands. Sinan getting very close, a couple of tenths off the back of Lawrence. That's now the fight for P2, and Tom 97 now only has 1 move to make if he wants a chance at the podium. Lennart is now 5.5 seconds clear at the front of the field. He is now the driver who seems to be dominating this race.
And yeah, I think this is perfect for Lennart Deckers as it stands. Championship lead, you know, quite comfortably it seems, over what will be Nico Rasenberg. But especially, yeah, Lawrence would have been in with a shout if it wasn't for the contact with, I believe, Sinan in Vegas as well that saw them both out of the points. But yeah, Jeremy going to need an absolute miracle here.
Yeah, I think as it stands, Jeremy would still hold second. Nico a third and a fifth is 25. Jeremy got 25 in the first race, as well as we got Star into the pits as well. Another driver, it seems, who is going for the two-stop strategy, which I will be very surprised if it works out for them here. Both of the Alpines deciding to bail from this one. Tom 97 is getting extremely close to his teammate. He's looking to the inside, in towards turn 3. There's contact between the two Ferraris. Sinan gets pushed wide and Tom 97 is through into the podium position. He's up to P3. Lawrence goes wide as they head through the loop. Could there be a chance here as we run down the Wellington straight towards turn number 6? Tom 97 getting ever closer to the back of the Aston Martin driver. He pulls to the inside, in towards Brooklands. It'll be the outside for Luffield now. Tom 97 trying to dance his way through, up into second place. Can he get the run here as they head down towards Cobb's Corner? Tom 97 gets the move done. He's up into second place.
It's not over yet, though, as we head towards Cops. And unfortunately, Lawrence can't quite stick his nose in to try and go for a move. But with the dirty air, he's had a much worse run. I think Nico Rasenberg's just gone miles off the circuit in the background as well. But Lawrence going to be under pressure from the other Ferrari now. He's got the benefit of the DRS off the back of Tom 97. But this has been an incredible race so far from the Ferrari.
Yeah, he's got a 2-lap tyre advantage over Lenneth as well, but I'd be very surprised if he's able to close in. Victor Garcia pretty much pushing Nico Rasenberg through Stowe Corner. He gets the car up the inside. There's contact! Oh! Nico Rasenberg is round as they head towards the Vale chicane, and that is going to send the McLaren driver tumbling down the order from P5 on the track. He's now running down in P14, and he's going to make his way into the pits, I think, to retire the car, and that is going to be it for the driver who finished third last time out. Nico Rasenberg is out here in Silverstone.
So unfortunate there for Nico. It was the smallest of contacts, it seemed, with Victor Garcia, and I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up with a steward's inquiry about it. But for now, we need to focus on, realistically, Tom 97, and can he pull the 1 second gap to Lawrence to allow his teammate to try and make this a Ferrari 2-3, which would be a better result than Ferrari have achieved in all of 2025.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the gap to Lennart as well. He gained 4/10 on the last lap over the Red Bull driver. We'll wait and see how this lap unfolds. I think he gained half a second in the first sector on this lap. He is starting to put some really strong pace together here. I wouldn't entirely count him out of the win just yet, but it's going to take some quite impressive pace and maybe some mistakes from the Red Bull driver if he wants that one to come into play.
Yeah, especially with the chance at punctures as well. You know, these guys have been running on these tyres, some of them since, you know, before lap 10. So it would not surprise me at all if we don't see, if we see at least one puncture. We have got Liam Doherty managing to make his way up into the points now. Good recovery given how far off he was as well, at least for this level. But he's running in the points once again, as Jeremy has so far gained about 7 seconds on the back of the pack.
Yeah, it is very, very impressive stuff. But with only 7 laps left to go, he's got to gain a lot of time here in these next few laps. Just looking last time around, Jeremy did a 28.4, cars in front 29.6, so 1.2 seconds. It's not really going to be enough as Sinan and Nathan Poulain swapping positions. I think there might have been a mistake here for the Ferrari. They've dropped away from Tom 97 and Lawrence Patton. A bit of a gap forming here in the pack, and that has allowed Nathan the chance to get through. Ferrari now 2nd and 5th. Not exactly the dream they were hoping to play out here. Is there a chance though for Sinan to try and close back in? Nathan won't have any DRS to defend with here heading down towards Stowe Corner.
Yeah, with the DRS towards Stowe, I mean, the thing is, Magnus and Beckett provides enough dirty air to where Sinan might be more of a threat from Victor Garcia now, as the Mercedes is closer to the Ferrari than the Ferrari to the Sauber. But yeah, no moves made at the minute. Tom 97 has also bridged the gap that he needed over Lawrence Patton as well. Only car left with the penalty is Tim Tornamo, and that is a 10-second time penalty that would see him drop to P14 at the minute, as Jeremy has gained another 2 seconds on the last lap.
Yeah, he is absolutely flying out there. 28.3. It was a personal best last time. No, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong car. That's the other Alpino Star. It was also a 28-3 though for Jeremy, as Vettel and Invasiso swapping positions here through in towards turn 4. Vettel gets himself ahead. Can Invasiso try and set up a slightly better run here as they head down the Wellington Straight? Doesn't look like it's going to be an opportunity for an overtake unless he has a bit more battery to play with. Doesn't look like it. But yeah, 28-3 last time around. 1 minute 30s. We were seeing, it's 2 seconds, as you said, on the last lap. We could be seeing Jeremy potentially trying to fight his way back through into the points. And I mean, if you've got 2 seconds a lap faster tyres, surely you will be able to make those moves extremely quickly.
Yeah, you can just about see him in the background as the drivers head through Cops, which is going to be a bit daunting now. I mean, potentially, if he manages to carve his way through, I mean, I don't want to rule him out of a chance at a podium.
I feel like a podium's a little bit too far. You probably expect maybe at the most 2 moves per lap, which maybe 5 or 6 moves to come here. It's always going to be a bit difficult with some drivers defending as well. I think he can probably get himself into the lower end of the points at least. Anything more than that, it's going to come down to how lucky he gets with effectively the traffic here.
Tom 97 not really gaining as much as he was. I think his tyres have started to plateau at the same level that Lennox were. And I mean, you know, irregardless, I think he'll be happy to settle for a P2.
Definitely, I would agree with that one. Nathan is getting very close to this, battling further behind Pesci and Kevin West. Doing battle here for what isn't even a points finish as it stands, but you never know what could come in these final few laps of the race. Nathan getting very close for a move as they head in towards Brooklands.
Yeah, we've still got these two going side by side for P12 on track, but yeah, I mean, already that's going to be P11 as it stands, isn't it, due to Tim Tornamer's penalty. And this has turned into a disaster for McLaren, though.
Yeah, it's as it stands. I think once that tyre advantage comes in for the 2 Alpines, it's going to be DNF and P15 and last for the McLarens. Nathan not as close as he was just a few moments ago, has dropped back away. Victor Garcia only 2/10 per second off of Sinan, but the DRS...
There he goes, Nathan.
Yeah, he gets close enough. Despite being about 4 or 5 tenths behind. Sinan going deep as well. That's going to give Victor Garcia the chance. He goes off down at Stowe in towards the Vale chicane. There's contact between Victor Garcia and Sinan as they hit the brakes. Somehow, Victor Garcia surviving without any damage to his car, but Sinan cutting the corner, comes back on and through. 2 cars go through, make that 3. Invasiso following through as well. He's up to 7th now, but what a terrible, terrible set of corners for Sinan. He was at one moment running up in 2nd place, I think, and now he's down to 8th. Make that 9th potentially. Here comes Pierre Karzik down the inside in towards turn 3. The Ferrari will get the inside line into 4. But can he try and hang on to this one as the Williams goes wide? Contact made. This is not ideal stuff. And the other Williams of Liam Doxey. No! They both drop it at the same time. A synchronized spinning for the 2 Williams. There wasn't contact for Liam. He just got eager on the throttle. And that is going to be so costly for the 2 Williams drivers. It drops them both outside the points as it stands. Pesci is now up to P11. Kevin West up into the top 10. Jeremy is only a second off the battle for the points now.
Yeah, so unfortunate there for both Williams cars. I mean, it's not over yet. We've still got 3 laps left as we cross the line. But that is the worst thing that could happen to a team, to have both cars spin whilst battling the same rival. As we've got another car off. That's Nathan Pillane, who's gone off. So the other Sauber has just dropped it through Chapel. And that re-promotes Lawrence Patton up to the podium.
Victor Garcia is closing in as well. I'm just looking at the tyres. He has got 2 lap fresher tyres compared to Lawrence as well. Is there a chance that Victor could try and get himself into the podium position? There's so many drivers still in contention. So much still left to happen in this race. We'll have to wait and see how things unfold here. But the time ticking down for the drivers. We're on lap 24 of 26. As Jeremy is now making moves through the field. He's up into P11. Very, very soon he will be looking at some points. In fact, heading into turn 3, turn 4 here. He's looking to the inside of the Mercedes, and this probably going to be a points finish now on the cars for Jeremy.
Yeah, he's just bullied his way past the Mercedes with Kevin West there. As they're going side by side in towards Brooklands, and Jeremy back up into P10, P9 as it stands due to the penalty for Tim Tornamo. And let's also not rule out Vettel for a chance at the podium here. As, yeah, we've got, I mean, if anything, I think that's the most likely, as Tornamo just lets Jeremy go there. But two Astons fighting the Mercedes, there's almost certainly going to be a bit of teamwork there.
We'll have to wait and see. Lawrence is not going to be too eager to give the podium up to his teammate, of course. Was there. Nathan dropping it again. Coming through Matt Beckett. He is really struggling with those rear tyres, and that is him now outside of the points. He has really dropped it there. Jeremy is up to 7th now as he gets past Sinan. There's a bit of a gap here as he heads on towards the penultimate lap of the race. Leonard Deckers, 5 seconds clear, is looking well and truly secured for the victory. Nathan picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. It has been an absolute disaster from podium to 14th in the space of just one lap. Things really could not have gone much worse for the Sauber driver, as Jeremy now 1.5 seconds off, continuing to close in on these drivers in front. He's got a 6-lap tyre advantage over the cars ahead of him. How much more does he need? How high can he get in this race? I know you said there was a chance at a podium. I said 2 overtakes per lap. At that rate, that would be a potential P3 on the cards here.
Yeah, and it is on the cards as it stands. He's only 1.2 off of the train for the podium, and if there's more shenanigans, I'll put it, then he is in really good stead to get, you know, a really good result out of this 2-stop.
I mean, it's going to take an incredible final lap here, because I expect there might be one move heading into Vale, but I don't think we're going to see too much. As up ahead, get Victor Garcia getting extremely close to Lawrence Patton. Looks like they were almost going side by side for a second as we head on towards the hangar straight. Victor Garcia only 0.2 of a second behind. Does he want the track position heading onto this final lap? Dirty air is very, very tricky to navigate. He'll look to the outside heading into Stoke Corner, but he can't get close enough. Great defense from Lawrence Patton, but it's not a great exit as they head down towards the Vale chicane. The Mercedes looks to the outside. Once again, Lawrence having to defend as they make their way through this 5-car battle. We got a Ferrari Sinan off down at Stowe, but here we go, the switchback for Victor Garcia. Gets himself through. Yeah, puncture, I think, for the Ferrari, but now we start the final lap of this race. Victor Garcia thought there was a chance there through the final few corners. This is the battle for third, and in towards turn 3 we go around the outside. Vettel diving. Jeremy also on emphasis. Oh, this battle is really starting to kick off, and then now the 2 Aston Martins are side by side as we head through the loop, through entry onto the Wellington Straight. The 2 Aston Martins at their home circuit running side by side. Victor Garcia getting in on this battle as well, looking to the inside, heading in towards turn number 6, trying to find his way past Lawrence Patton. Vettel is now through into the podium positions. Victor and Lawrence squabbling away. Jeremy is right on the back of this battle as well as we head down the old pit straight. Bit of a swapper for Lawrence Patton as he gets onto the power, and Jeremy is putting pressure on now as we head down towards Copse Corner.
They were 3 wide for a second heading towards Copse. I thought we were about to see the unthinkable there, and miles off the track for Jeremy, and it looks like he's going to get stuck in behind Lawrence Patton there. So he's getting stuck behind one Aston Martin. Victor Garcia is going for the other, as Vettel has had a really poor run through Chapel. Everybody is going to be burning everything, heading in towards Stowe now. Vettel holding the inside line on Garcia. Patton holding the inside on Jeremy. And Patton and Jeremy have both gone around there. And that has let Invasizo through. But Leonard Deckers has won the British Grand Prix from Tom 97. And it's going to be AZR Vettel, who goes from 18th on the grid all the way up to P3.
Chaos on the final laps. We knew it was going to be exciting battling as Liam Doherty just about picks up on the points, I think, as they came across the line. Nathan Poulain, he was running in 3rd. He comes home in 11th. And something else I noticed in those final few laps, Tom 97 was gaining about 1.5 seconds a lap. The gap came down to about 2.5 seconds in the end there. Between Leonard and Tom. Maybe Leonard really having to struggle with those tyres. But here we go, the race results for you. Leonard Deckers does pick up victory from 2nd on the grid. Tom 97 from 6th comes home in 2nd. AZR Vettel in 3rd, picking up the final podium position from 18th on the grid. Victor Garcia couldn't quite get the moves done on the final lap. comes home in 4th. Then we have Inversizzo, Lawrence Patton, Jeremy Gallonier in 7th, Kevin West, Pierre Karzik, Liam Doherty. Rounding out our points finishers, Nathan Poulain with that time penalty drops himself outside the top 10. Star in P12 on that 2-stop strategy. Pesci in P13, Tim in P14. Sinan, who had that puncture on the penultimate lap, comes home in P15. And then your retirees, Nico Rasenberg, Timon Van Vincent and Thomas Bowser. What a race we have had here in Silverstone. Wow, wow, wow. I have
tagged our interviewers.
Incredible stuff here. Leonard, Tom and Vettel, we'll have a look and see. Leonard will be hopping in, I believe. We'll have a wait and see if we're going to get Tom 97 and Vettel as well. But that was an incredible end to a race there. Let's see.
Yeah, unbelievable. And it's just classic Silverstone, isn't it, that?
Yeah, I mean, a pretty straightforward race for Leonard. He stuck with Jeremy while he was out there with him. Came back and just drove away, really. Tom 97 managed to fight his way through. He comes home in 2nd again. A pretty decent drive from his side. But yeah, I think we will have a quick chat with our race winner first and foremost. Hello, Leonard. Can you hear us?
Yes.
So, to start this season off, you picked up P2 last time out, and now a win here tonight. You must be really happy with that result.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I didn't think that I could win at Silverstone because, I don't know, normally I'm not that fast, but yeah, I'm really happy.
Yeah, and just talk us through the strategy. I think you were one of the earlier drivers to go for the pit stops. Looked like maybe having to manage some tyres at the end as well.
Yeah, I pitted, I think, lap 9. It was a bit early. And then, yeah, I pushed too much at the beginning. And then, yeah, I just had a big enough gap to manage it from then on. And, yeah, it was maybe a bit slow at the end, but, yeah, it worked out.
Yep, any questions from you, Ryan?
Yeah, main question from me is just what was the mindset when you're running P2 and you realise that Jeremy is actually committing to a 2-stop? In that moment, did you think you had won the race, or did you still think that he'd be in with a decent shout at the win?
I didn't think that he could still win, but I was kind of scared of the medium runners that pitted lap 11 or so, because I mean they had much fresher tires, but yeah.
Yep, you lost a couple of seconds in those final laps. Was that just managing the tyre wear at the end to make sure you didn't pick up a puncture? Or was there anything else going on there that you had to worry about?
No, I just tried to not get a puncture, and yeah, I mean I saw that I have a big gap, so yeah, I just took it easily.
Any more questions from you, Ryan?
Nope, nothing more from me.
Alright, well, congratulations on the race win here tonight. Next week, if I just remember, we are headed to Monza. What are your thoughts on that track? Do you think that's a track you'll go well at?
I don't know. I didn't drive it yet this game, so we'll see. But yeah.
Alright, well, best of luck.
Normally I'm pretty good, so yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, well, best of luck to yourself, Leonard, and hopefully another good result on the cards for you next time out.
Thanks.
No problem. Alright, we'll have a quick look and see.
We're not getting anyone else.
Not going to get either of the others. Alright then, well, once again, I think a chaotic race we've had here. A slightly different chaotic, though. Slightly less carnage, I'd say. Although a couple more crashes, I think, despite not being a street circuit. Overall, though, really great job from all the drivers. Leonard, Tom and Vettel coming home with the podium. I think an amazing job by them. But I think we definitely have to say, if we had to give a driver of the day, it would have to go to Vettel. 18th to 3rd is an incredible drive at a track where it has really been so difficult to overtake on this game.
I wouldn't just say this game either. It's been quite a few games as of recent, but yeah, there's nothing we can say to understate Vettel's performance. It was just exceptional.
Yeah, well, amazing stuff from us here tonight. Amazing job by all the drivers. I'm just quickly having a look. As we said in that interview, it will be Monza next time out on November the 17th. So make sure you join us here again at the same time for that one. Thank you to Grid Finder and Next Level Racing as well. You've got the socials up there somewhere, up at the top, for WOR. If you want to check those out as well for some extra content. Yeah, make sure you hit that follow button, subscribe, like, say something in the chat if you would like. But yeah, that is going to be it from us here tonight. I believe we'll be heading over to the Tier 2 broadcast as well, assuming I set that up correctly. But yeah, thank you for joining us here tonight, and we will see you all next week for some action in Monza. Take care and bye for now.